CS6 can be used solely to create graphics, if that's what you want. However, it's known for being a rapid prototype creation tool. Everything you've learned about images and objects will come into play here. Layers and pages will become critical as you begin your work. All the hard work you put into studying this course starts to pay off right now in this lesson. We're going to discuss creating a wireframe, adding pages to a prototype, assembling a prototype, and testing and exporting your prototype. Fireworks is an excellent prototyping tool that you can use to create mock-ups of web pages, mobile apps, and other user interfaces. By using the Pages panel, Layers panel, symbols, and other aspects, such as hotspots, you can test different designs and figure out existing issues. A prototype is defined as a mock-up or a demo of what an app or website will look like. A prototype can be something as simple as a sketch that you've done on paper, and it can be as complex as a clickable HTML prototype. The workflow for a prototype is typically as follows. Number 1, produce the concept. For example, is it an app, a game, or a website? Number 2, create a wireframe. Number 3, create a realistic prototype that addresses the look of the project. Number 4, make the prototype interactive to test the usability. And number 5, build the final project. A wireframe is a simple model of a website or app that you want to develop. Wireframes can be hand-drawn and are made up of lines that define a site structure. For the purpose of this lesson, we're going to create a prototype for a very basic website. We drew a wireframe in another program that sketches out the basic layout of the website. Just keep in mind that you can also draw a wireframe using paper and pencil. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, you can compare it to the very first draft of a report. You're just getting the main ideas down. To start designing our prototype in Fireworks, we first need to go to the Layers panel and create another layer. We're going to rename the first layer Wireframe, and then rename the second layer Wireframe Sketch. Once that's finished, we're ready to import our wireframe. Click on the wireframe sketch layer and then go to File, Import. Locate your wireframe sketch and import it. Take a look at the Layers panel again. You can see our sketch appears in the wireframe sketch layer. Perfect. We're going to use the sketch to create a wireframe in Fireworks. To do this, we're going to use guides to mark where we'll draw the shapes. Use the sketch to determine where you need to place guides. Now with the layer named Wireframe active, we're going to draw the shapes on our document using the Vector Shapes tools. Now go to the Layers panel and lock the wireframe sketch layer. Then click the eye icon to the left of it to make it invisible. You can also get rid of your guides now as well if you'd like. When you're finished, go back to your document. Add text to the shapes and label what each shape represents. If you haven't already, take the time to name the shapes in the Layers panel so that you know what each one is. When you're finished, your wireframe in Fireworks will look something like this. Now you can start adding design elements to the page, such as the header. You can create these aspects in other programs such as Photoshop or Illustrator, or you can create them with what you've learned thus far in this course. Since we're designing a simple website for the purpose of this course, this page we've created will also serve as our master page. We'll discuss that more in the next section. For now, create a new layer above the wireframe layer and name it Prototype. Make sure that this new layer is active as we move forward. If you go to the Common Library, you can see some wireframe symbols created for you by Fireworks. You can use these wireframes or create your own wireframes and symbols. Here's a wireframe symbol for a tooltip, and here's one for a video player. The first step in creating your prototype is creating the pages. If you're creating a prototype of a website, you'll need to create every page in your prototype. If you're creating an application, every state of the application will need a page in Fireworks. If all of your pages share things like headers, logos, navigation, and so on, you can create a master page to save time, as we learned earlier in the course. Here we've started to add graphics and filler text to our prototype. You can still see some of our wireframe beneath the graphics we've added. However, we're going to hide the wireframe layer for now by clicking on the eye icon to the left of the layer. Now go to the Pages panel. If you want to create a master page, right-click on the page and then select Set as Master Page. For our prototype, we're only going to have one page. If you want to add another page, right-click on the existing page and then select New Page. You can then name your pages. The first page should be named Index. At this point in your prototype, you want to add graphics, images, symbols, vector shapes, and anything else that you want to incorporate into the design aspect of the prototype. In other words, focus on the visual aspect of the prototype for the time being and get all of the pages finished in that regard. Once you have all of that ready, then you're ready to move forward. The next step is adding states to different design elements. We learned how to add states earlier in this course. You can add hover states to navigation elements. You may also want to add hover states to drop-down menus, tooltips, and links. Remember, to create a hover effect, all you need to do is change the look or appearance of the object for the second state. Use the States panel to do this. Once you have everything else placed in your prototype, you can start adding slices and hotspots. You can use slices to define interactive regions such as hover states and hotspots to create areas for hyperlinks. Most websites will use the logo area as a hotspot. Clicking on the logo will take you to a page in the website. This page is usually the home or index page. We're going to turn the logo area into a hotspot by clicking on the rectangle hotspot tool and dragging it over the logo. To add the hyperlink, we go to the Properties panel. Type the URL in the link field and alternate text in the alt field if you wish. To test the hotspot in a browser window, go to File, Preview in Browser, and then select your browser. Creating hotspots in your prototype and linking them to external websites is easy, but you also need to link the pages of your website together. By now you have your navigation built with all of its buttons. Now you just need to link your pages. You can do this by creating hotspots if you don't want to add hover effects. The link that you enter in the link field in the Properties panel should be the name of the page that you're linking to. This should be the name of the page as it appears in the Pages panel. HTML slices allow you to embed things such as videos and Google Maps into your prototype. You can add a snippet of HTML into a slice by following these steps. Draw a slice and then go to the Properties panel. For the type of slice, select HTML, then click on the Edit button. Paste the HTML code that you want to use into the Edit HTML Slice dialog box by clicking Command or Control V. I'm using the HTML code from Lesson 11 Asset 2. Then click OK. You may need to use the iframe tag as well as height and width attributes if you're embedding an object. It goes without saying that before you export your prototype, you want to test it out by going to File, Preview, and Browser. When you're ready to export your prototype to share with clients or other people, you have a few options. Let's discuss both of those. Your first option is to export it as an HTML file. To do this, go to File, Export. You'll then see the Export dialog. As you can see, Export is set to HTML and images. In the HTML field, we have Export HTML file selected. This is our export file type. We also have Export Slices selected, and we want to export all pages. By default, the export settings are set to current page. For your prototype, you want to make sure this is set to all pages. Make sure Selected Slices Only is unchecked and put a check mark beside Put Images in Subfolder. Click Save when you're ready to export. You can also export your prototype to an interactive PDF. To do this, go to File, Export, and in the Export field, choose Adobe PDF. Click Save when you're ready to export your prototype.